take place. Back to the mall in the old school days. Kicking it back with stories exchange. This is before everything changed. Oh, 245 at Mickey D's, Sears catalogs and memories. Eclectic is taking you back. Just turn the page. Took me forward. Everything changed.
What's up, everybody? Before everything changed, before everything it just got different. It was things in the 80s and the early 90s, you know, that's all we talk about here, that were normal, that we just figured was normal. It's just weird things that we thought were normal, no longer normal. Like the stuff that doesn't exist anymore. You used to call people on the phone. I did a whole telephone episode, but you call people on the phone and you would just hope that they were home. Hope they were home, hope they'd answer the phone. It sounds crazy, but you dialed, nobody picked up. It was like, damn. It was no text. You couldn't follow up and be like, yo, I hit you up. Most of the time, there was no answer machine. There's no voicemails. It was busy signal. Maybe they're home. Maybe the phone's off the hook. Maybe somebody else is on the phone. You just go about your business, call the next person, or go and do whatever the hell you did for the day, because you couldn't get them. That was it. It was normal to just be like, yo, I called them, I didn't get an answer, and so let's go do whatever the fuck. That was normal shit. It was normal if you missed an episode of TV, that was it. You missed it. There's no streaming. There's no I'm going to watch it when I get back home. There's no DVR. You didn't go on. There was no internet to go on to get a recap. there was no Reddit threads. But, you know, you go to school the next day like, yo, did you see? Nah. And I'm like, oh. That was it. We didn't even bother telling you about it. We're like, damn, that's fucked up. We felt for you, you know. And now it's like, nah, I didn't see it. I'll watch it all tomorrow. I'll binge it all on this weekend. You know, but it was something you wanted to see, shit, so that you could be a part of the conversation. It was normal that, hey, there's no guarantee that you're gonna see a rerun in the summer, because guess what? You outside in the summer. Just normal shit. It was normal to be in long car rides, no music. And the reason was, say for instance you were going out of town and you would know the radio station where you are, but then as soon as you get further enough away, you don't know the radio station. Sometimes your parents would just turn the radio off, and you'd be okay with it. You just look out the window, fucking, if you got a toy or something, you play with the toy. You got a book, you read the book. That was it. There was no phone to scroll on. There was no apps to look at. It was just silence. It was okay, because, you know, or your parents would put in their favorite tape or CD, and you're like, ugh. And then if you complain enough, they're like, well, fuck it. And then they turn the shit off. You would go to, you have a doctor's appointment, a dentist appointment, or whatever the hell. You go to the waiting room. There was no screens. There was no TV to look at. There was no, a lot of times, no music. It was just chairs and highlights magazines. just go look at the See and Find. It was, boredom wasn't like, damn, I'm bored. It was just, this is what it was. It was normal. It was just, I'm going to go here, I'm going to sit here, thumb through some fucking, like I said, some old ass magazines, some Jets, and that's what it was. We had it was normal. It was it was required, but it was normal to ride a bike everywhere with no helmet, no pads. You didn't have no safety stuff. It was normal. You better not. We would kill you if you came outside with protection on. But there was no phones. We get on the bike, go. No, you couldn't track us. We didn't check in. We couldn't check in. We out. You know what I'm saying? But that was normal. Walking home alone at 6, 7, shut up, 6, 7, 8 years old, just walking the streets. It was normal. It's like, yo. And no one ever stopped you and said, yo, where you going? Where you coming from? Just leave the kid alone. He fucking going somewhere. It was normal. And it wasn't that the parents sucked. It was just that was normal. I went and bought so many packs of cigarettes before the age of 10. Now at the store you get a note or they call down and say, yo, they coming to pick up some shit. And you go, I'd pick up fucking cigarettes and beer. Well, yeah, I don't. Can I get the change so I can have some now and later? But it was just normal shit. You would think like it was no stranger danger. It was you knew the neighbors knew you. You would talk to them. In some places they had the okay to give you a whooping if you was doing some weird shit. Now you better not touch somebody else's kid. But back then it was just normal shit. It was like, damn, I can't even do that because Mrs. Such and such and such is in the window or sitting on the porch. And as soon as I do it, then she go fucking telling, snitch. So you couldn't do shit. But it was normal. I did a VCR VHS episode. Go back and listen to all the shits. They're like 10 minutes. What are you gonna do? But it was normal to have tapes. We thought those was permanent. Like, why would you think that VCR tapes aren't going to be a thing? So you got a collection, you got all your movies, your favorite shit, cameras. Why would you think they would change? You put the film in, you get what, 24 shots, and then go get it developed. That was it. But the other thing was, there was no previews. Well, no, let me take a look at that. You took the picture, you went and whatever came back, that's what it was. You know, if it was blurry, it was blurry. If you had red eyes, you had red eyes. If you wasn't looking, you wasn't looking. This is just what it was. But it was normal to go do that, and there was no reason to think that would ever change. Maps. Here's the thing. Back, it was, if you were walking somewhere, or even if you were driving somewhere, if you got lost, you were just lost until you weren't. That's what it was. Like, yo, we don't know where we are. All right, well, let's go down here and see if some shit looks familiar. Nope, well, let's go down here. Let's just look for some signs that say something close to what we want to do. Maybe you will pull over and ask somebody something. But if you're walking, let's just go find a street. Find a street we know and then fucking work it from there or some shit. Or a lot of times we would just go, and if we were riding bikes or walking, we go with the streets that we knew. It would be the longer way, but we knew that's what it was. There was probably some ways you could dip and dive and get a fucking shortcut, but it's like, yeah, I don't know that, and I don't know those people. But it was just normal. It was normal to get lost and just be lost, and that was it. It was normal to spend cash. If you had money, why would you think? There was no reason to ever think cash wouldn't be the main way of buying shit. That's also crazy. It was just normal to, you got a couple of dollars. You got 50 cents for the vending machine. We're tapping now. Like, ew. Money? That's fucking weird. Except for if you go to the strip club. You can't tap that ass. That was funny. But there was no moment that all of these things changed. There was no announcement, no countdown. It was just one day you just realize the world just doesn't work the way it used to. I can't even pinpoint when it happened. And we're already on the other side. And that's the whole point of why I wanted to do this episode, because at some point shit wasn't normal anymore that you would have sworn would be the same forever. Anyway, that's the show. You know what we up to. A tight 10, 11 minute episode. But I appreciate you guys listening. And all the shit that you think was normal and the shit changed, let me know, because as before everything changed.
This is before everything changed.
Just turn the page to before everything changed. This is before everything changed. Eclectic. Before everything changed. Before EC. This is before everything changed. Podcast. Nobody more easy. It's them more eyes. For so I never refrain my love and them. See the goddess taste before he see. This is before everything changed. Podcast.
Before
Everything